Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, they say never speak ill of people who are no longer with us, but to be fair, I have been speaking ill of this guy long before he departed, because you see his conducts Brooks being spoken ill of. Guys, I bring you this $1.3 million United States mansion purchased by ex-Oyo Governor Ajimobi in 2016 uncovered. So it is pertinent to note the timeline and the amount. $1.3 million is the amount being spoken about, and the purchase, according to this headline, was made in 2016. So who was the governor of Oyo State in 2016? Bola Ajimobi, of course. So when he was in the throes of his fullest pomp of his political life, that was when he made this purchase, when he was in office. And by the way, you have to add this $1.3 million estate mansion that he has bought in America to the vast estate of 40 plots that he also acquired in a prime location in Oyo State round about that period, and was built round about that period as well. So again, the headline: $1.3 million United States mansion purchased by ex-Oyo Governor Ajimobi in 2016 uncovered. So now let's not get into the details of it. A house in Rockville, Maryland, United States, purchased by a former governor of Oyo State, Abiola Ajimobi, in 2016 for $1,347,200 has been uncovered. The residential building located at 10821 Symphony Park Drive, which attracts an annual tax of $18,198, was purchased by Ajimobi during his second term in office as the governor of Oyo State in 2016. According to findings, the purchase of the house in America is in gross violation of the Code of Conduct law in Nigeria, which forbids serving public officials from operating foreign bank accounts and purchasing properties outside the country. It was gathered from sources at the Code of Conduct Bureau that the property was not listed amongst assets declared by former Oyo State Governor until his tenure in office elapsed in 2019. Also, checks with top real estate players in the United States indicated that the Maryland property of Ajimobi was now worth at least $1.6 million. The revelation came days after Ajimobi passed away at the First Cardiology Hospital in Ikoyi, Lagos, as a result of complications. Before his demise, the late former governor had been embroiled in a bitter feud with the Oyo State government, headed by Seyi Makinde, over the renovation of 48 plots of land belonging to him. So 48 plots rather than 40, as I stated. According to the state government, the renovation became necessary after the property violated its land administration laws. Unwilling to lose the choice property without putting up a brave fight, Ajimobi took the matter to court, where it remained until he passed away last week. So here you have it now. They say never speak ill of the deceased, but really there's certain types of people that you have to really echo their doings when they were around, because this is just, it's a gross violation, one, of Nigerian laws. But then of course, the Nigerian laws are only what the papers that they're written, and nobody observes laws in Nigeria, but the laws are still there as the guideline for conduct, and this has been violated because of course this guy bought this property whilst he was in office in 2016. So where did that money come from is of course the question to go to, because he did not purchase it prior and he did not purchase it after, and he had only one source of income, which was a salaried income whilst he was the governor of Oyo State. So where did that money come from? So this is the obvious question, and the answers, of course, are obvious as well. I just ask that question rhetorically because I don't really expect an answer, because the answers are there. So now it is all coming out now, but then of course they will now start to beat the drumbeat of sentiments to say that let sleeping dogs lie, etc. And Sheyi Makinde, of course, will be bullied out of making any inquiries or any investigations into this, because that of course is how the Nigerian system works. But again, just to flash it up, because this is just one governor of one state, or your state is not the richest state in Nigeria, it's not the poorest state in Nigeria as well, it's just like a middle of the road sort of state. So if one governor from that state is able to, within that period of his tenure, purchase this $1.3 million property, which of course will not be the only property that he purchased abroad, because they have a list. The United States, London, and Dubai, they all have properties in those places. If you're a Nigerian politician and you don't have properties in the United States, London, and Dubai, then you are not really worth your salt. They will disgrace you out of your village, that look at this idiot, he's been in office, he's not even been able to do these things. So where that money is coming from is really where the question is, and the value cost of that money is usually what pains me, because of course there's no such thing as free money. If a money serves a purpose, then the other purpose that that money could serve is no longer served, because one money cannot serve two purposes. If you have 10 naira and you go to the shop and you buy a loaf of bread for 10 naira, that same 10 naira cannot then buy you a container of milk as well, because that 10 naira has already been spent. So that is what they call value cost. So the value cost of that bread that you purchased, because you only had the 10 naira, so the value cost of that bread that you purchased for that 10 naira is the milk that you can no longer purchase, because that 10 naira has been spent. So this $1.3 million that this guy has now taken to go and purchase the mansion in Maryland in America, Rochville Road, I think, Rochville Park, I think is the name of the place that they said he made this purchase. So the value cost of that $1.3 million is schools and hospitals and health services and roads, because that $1.3 million cannot now be spent to build a school in some local government area that is in need of a school, or build a hospital where there's a need, or a road where there's a, you get the logic. So the value cost of that money is really where the pain is. And if you think that Nigeria is actually a wealthy country, but to all intents and purposes is a third world country, at least the manifestation of the livings of the everyday person within the Nigerian space is very much a third world existence. So if you think then the gap that infrastructure can feel to impact on the life of the people, then you really see that this is an ungodly thing that these people do. These things that these people do are ungodly, because that road that they could build from the farmlands into the city would provide the succor for the farmer to get his products into the city at a cheaper rate, which would then one, bring up his margins in terms of profit, and then bring down also the purchase, the pricing rather, of that good. So the schools that they could build, it will rescue one child that would have been married off at 18, 19 to become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, travel abroad, and be one of those people that were saying all Nigerians are. So there's the value cost, it impacts more directly. It's really the point that I am really looking to make. This is why I am always pained whenever I see this sort of a storyline. So the value cost of these monies that these people are looting, it impacts more profoundly than if it were happening somewhere else. If an American politician steals $1.3 million from the state or his local government or wherever, it doesn't really impact that much. Yes, it will be felt a bit, but it would not impact as it would in an African setting, because the needs are so dire, and the insulation that that sort of money would have, the impact that it will have, what it will insulate against suffering is so profound that it is an ungodly act when these people take all this money. So this is why I continue to do all these stories. So they say not to speak ill of the deceased, but then of course this conduct brooks no other thing than ill thoughts and ill words. Conversations in the comment section, they are now uncovering it. So what says you? And by the way, we're still chasing down Abata's loot. So if you can chase down Abata's loot, then nobody is exempt. I don't think anybody is thinking kindly about Abata. So don't come into my comment section to say blah blah blah. It's one rule for everybody, the Malamis and everyone else. So come into the comment section then without the blah blahs, and come tell me what you're making of this now new discovery of this massive mansion that this guy purchased in Maryland, America, during his tenure, his second term, that is, as the governor of your state. Come share thoughts. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me now what you're making of this now new story that is breaking, and similar stories really, because this is not a new thing within the Nigerian space. So come share thoughts and experiences with me in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, and click on like as well. By the way, I keep forgetting to say that that helps with the YouTube algorithm. So click on subscribe, the bell notification, and like, especially if you enjoyed the video. You are not compelled to click on like, but if you did enjoy the video, then please click on like. Then come join me in the comment section to progress this conversation. So I'll leave you here, carry the conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.